Some 30 plus years later, the Empire's angsty cousin, the First Order, has arisen and is causing mischief all over the galaxy. It was thought by many that only Luke Skywalker could stop them, but when the world needed him most, he just vanished. Naturally though, he left behind a map to find him because the movie really needed a MacGuffin. The Resistance who opposes the First Order sent their best pilot Poe Dameron to recover the map from an old dude who only super nerds would know of. It's unexplained how the First Order finds him immediately, but of course, they do. And he's captured by a scary masked dude with a red lightsaber. But not before he can pass on the map to his loyal droid, BB-8. Say, that sounds familiar. A stormtrooper named Finn helps Poe escape, and the masked dude, his name's Kylo Ren, is really upset about it. This girl named Rey, who lives in the middle of yet another desert planet, finds BB-8 wandering the desert, and they become friends. Again, I'm getting some serious deja vu here. Finn and Poe crash land on the desert planet, and Poe is presumed dead. And because this franchise is literally built upon coincidences, Finn runs into Rey and BB-8, and they all run away from the First Order. They escape on a ship, which naturally is a nearly derelict Millennium Falcon, and are almost immediately captured by a larger ship. Suddenly, a much older Han Solo and Chewie hop on board, and that's one of those applause moments. Something, Han's in trouble again, and they all escape to Sophia Petrillo. I mean, an orange lady named Maz Kanata's castle. She's an old friend of Han's who he thinks can bring BB-8 to the Resistance, because he doesn't want to do it himself. He's a grumpy old man. Kylo Ren's working for a guy named Snoke, who's in charge of the First Order and has a mysterious force power. I mean, seriously, I swear this is super familiar. Turns out Han Solo is Kylo Ren's father, and the whole family dynamic is a doozy. Rey finds Luke's lightsaber in Maz's castle. The First Order blows up some planets with their super weapon called the Starkiller Base. Once again, super familiar. Why is that? Rey gets captured because Kylo Ren thinks he can extract the map from her head, and the Resistance shows up to attack the First Order. Turns out Leia is the leader of the Resistance, and they all head back to their base. Oh, and Poe's still alive. Kylo Ren's actually a super whiny nerd. Han, Chewie, and Finn save Rey, who conveniently finds out that she has force powers, and Han confronts his son. He gets roasted like 2 seconds later, and Rey screams as her new mentor is slain in front of her. Sounds familiar again. Weird. Rey fights Kylo Ren with Luke's lightsaber and wins very easily somehow, and Finn is hurt pretty badly and put into a coma. The Starkiller Base blows up and Rey departs to go and find Luke with the completed map in hand. She somehow lands on the right island on the big ocean planet where he is, the first time, and they make awkward eye contact for a fat minute. This movie sucks! Just kidding. Back off, haters, just be grateful. The First Order is mega cheesed about losing that big battle, so they come and blow up the Resistance base, but luckily, they all escape. The writers decided that Poe needed a personality, so they made him arrogant and cocky, and because of his actions, tons of people get roasted. Turns out Luke's also a grumpy old man who shuts out the Force, and he refuses to train Rey. Chewie and R2 come to knock some sense into him, and so he kinda changes his mind, a little bit. The Resistance is running from the First Order, and Leia falls into a coma after a quick screening of The Big Lebowski. That one lady from Jurassic Park takes over and decides it'd be real funny not to tell anyone about her plan to save everyone. Finn meets Rose and they go on an ultimately pointless journey. But hey, the real journey was the friends they made along the way. Kylo Ren keeps trying to reach out to Rey through the Force, which really creeps her out. She then finds out that Kylo Ren turned to the dark side during Luke's apprenticeship, and he feels super guilty about it. He did try to put him down for a second, so it's kind of his fault, but he feels bad, so that makes it okay. Rey thinks she can turn Kylo Ren back to the light, so she goes to confront him and Snoke. Oh, and Yoda pops in for a quick cameo. Kylo Ren decides to roast Snoke and tells Rey to join her, but not before casually telling her that her mysterious parents are dead alcoholics. She says no, and Luke's lightsaber breaks when they play tug of war. Jurassic Park lady crashes a big ship into the First Order's big ship, making it the most intense game of bumper cars ever. Dang, she is a good divorce lawyer. Everyone flees to a salt planet called Crate, and all hope seems lost until Luke shows up out of nowhere. He distracts Kylo Ren, who's having a big tantrum, long enough for the Resistance to escape, because it turns out he's actually just projecting himself using the Force, and he never left his island. Because he's old, this effort ultimately roasts him. The Resistance flees into deep space, and a little kid uses the Force on a broom.